Here's a great question. How do you not underprice your photography? Another thing I often recommend to photographers to prevent them from being the low price photographer is to have, I received an email from Sue and she had a great question. How does she not become the cheap photographer? How can she price her work appropriately? In other words, she wants to offer a price that's fair to her client, but she also wants to offer a price that's fair to her as well as the industry. She doesn't want a lowball. She doesn't want to be known as the cheap photographer because she also knows that if she goes down that road, chances are she won't be in business very long. She's watched enough of these videos to figure that out. And let's start with one of the things that we talk about in just about every single video. And those of you who watch these videos know that this has to be mentioned every single time, and that is understanding your cost of doing business. How much does it cost for you to run your business? So take a look at this video right here. That'll help you out. But there's some other things that you can do to help you and help prevent you from pricing too low. One thing I recommend you do is look for a local photography organization or club, or meetup.com is a great place to find like-minded people who want to talk about certain subjects. So look for people who are interested in talking about the business of photography. And there are groups like that out there. There are also professional organizations that can help you, like the Professional Photographers of America or American Society of Media Photographers, who really focus on the business of photography. That's asmp.org. They have a lot of information there that can support you to help you understand the industry. If you have some friends who are photographers, maybe you send them an email and ask them, hey, how would they approach this? You don't ever have to ask them how to price specifically, but you can always ask for some guidance. Now, not every photographer is willing to share, and I think that's a shame. Photographers should share in the name of strengthening their industry, but not every photographer is willing to do that. So if you get a rejection, if somebody's not interested, that's fine, just move on, but ask other photographers. Now, one of my favorite ways to price photography is per image pricing. Photograph for the value of the image, not the time it took for you to create that image. The reason I do that is I rarely underbid in comparison to people who are doing day rates. I usually get the full value of what I am doing when I charge per image rates. Even if they're low rates, I find that people have a specific budget, and if you're not meeting their budget, for example, if you said you're going to charge somebody $500 but they had a $1,000 budget, if you're doing per image pricing, chances are they'll use that full $1,000 budget. If you tell people, hey, it's a flat $500, you've lost half of your opportunity. Another thing I often recommend is to ask for the budget, and you would be surprised how often the budget is much higher than you were expecting. Even a family will often have a budget higher than you were expecting. Sometimes it is lower, sometimes they are a little shocked by the price of photography. But I have found it is not that uncommon for a business or a family to have a budget that you would be very happy to accept. Another thing I often recommend to photographers to prevent them from being the low price photographer is to have a price list. In other words, a list that you worked out in advance. A lot of times we're the lowest price because we're just kind of doing it on the fly. We're saying, oh, let's see, do this, do that. Okay, here's your price. Versus taking a moment and thinking about it and taking a look at your price. And you can just have a little document on your desktop, pull it up and say, okay, when I do this, this, and this, and this, I have to charge this much. You've done your cost of doing business. You've figured out what you want to charge for such situations, rather than charging too little and misrepresenting your own pricing system. On that same note, I highly recommend that you don't offer a price over the phone, at least during the first call. Ask a lot of good questions. Make sure you have all of the information and then go back to them with a price. Chances are, once you've worked through it and you've gotten all the information, you're able to offer a more reasonable and appropriate price than if you just immediately gave them an instant price over the phone. So what do you do to help prevent yourself from being an underpriced photographer? Hey, put your comments below. I'm looking forward to reading them. Of course, if you found this video valuable, make sure you like it and share it with your friends. If you don't want to miss a future upload, be sure to subscribe.